So unlike the past few days, today's been the first slow day of April for me. Because I don't have anything I needed to get done today other than put the trash out, which I did before I went to bed. Because I don't wake up early enough most times to actually have it out there when they show up. Like, I got up at about noon, and that's early for me. But I did end up spending a couple of hours getting some templates, picking through and finding, oh good, responsive code so that I don't have to go through and do that myself, because the actual style part is less time consuming and ends up being less proportionally of the code than the, oh hey, make it not look like shit on tablets and mobile and the stuff I didn't want to do from scratch. If it happened to have the nav bar in the right place and a footer that isn't terrible, I can work with that too. But mostly I was after for the responsive code. And I found a few options. I've got one picked apart in Komodo and gotten down to more of a bare bones layout to see how much of it I do and don't want to keep. And I may start weeding through some of the others later. But I got most of what I wanted from the first one. So, only if I can't get the nav bar to be exactly the way I want it am I really going to start wading into other stuff. This is also something that I intend to persist beyond just it also happens to fulfill a requirement for a course. Kinda like with the game that I'm not recording, I actually care about how it looks. If it were just an assignment for school, I would care more about does it do what I want, rather than does it look exactly the way I want, and also do what I want. If it's just a thought experiment for school, I'm willing and able to sacrifice that last bit of fussing on form to get function. If I can, in some of the classes we've already had, function wasn't available, so I had to mock it up. As for the gaming, starting up Civ actually worked. Fraps didn't give me any trouble. It's a remarkably simple thing to do because I can just chipmunk the whole thing, at least until I have enough gap and turns to edit those out entirely. And it'll keep me from obsessively reloading until I have an island that's just right. Like, with no neighbors and enough room for a handful of cities. So I'm gonna go play some Civ and finish catching up on my YouTube subscriptions.